Hello, everyone. Today is day plus 13 of this bone marrow transplant journey. My stem cell. It's day 13 past my stem cell transplant, and I've been wanting to make this video even like maybe a week or two before I received the stem cell transplant, even before I went into the hospital, because I wanted this video to be a video to my future self. I never ended up doing it because I was doing a lot of other prep, getting ready for the hospital, and now that I've gone through this process, I think that I'm a little bit more qualified to speak about the subject. Now that I've gone through the process, the doctors are essentially saying that tomorrow, which is my day plus 14, uh, I will be like a discharge date. They're saying that I've shown significant progress. I'm essentially fine. I'm not necessarily getting fevers, nausea, diarrhea. My mouth sores are gone, with the exception of my hair. Everything is really fine. So there's no real reason for me to stay in the hospital if I'm just gonna eat, sleep, drink. If I'm just gonna be completely normal functioning, I can do that in a hotel, or I can do that at home and then come into the hospital. So now that I'm about to be discharged, I want to share this information with you guys. So there are three things that the doctors told me before I came to the hospital that I need to do as my part as a patient in order to be successful with a bone marrow transplant. Um, I'm going to say what these three things are, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the video expounding on my interpretation and how I processed this information, like how it worked for me. And if you guys stay till the end of the video, I'll even give you like a little bit of bonus information. Maybe this will help if you're about to go through a stem cell transplant or a bone marrow transplant. Follow this advice, and hopefully it'll help you. So the three things are like this: number one, eat and drink; number two, exercise; and number three, mental health. That's all the doctors told me. So I did my own research. I did my own investigating into trying to find out like what these things mean. It seems like it's almost pretty much obvious, but it's not necessarily clear like why or how or what exactly happens by going through this. Like, why are these the things that are needed? So I did my own research to find out what these things are. So before we get into those details, I just want to make sure that it's clear to you, the viewer, why a doctor would tell this to you. The idea is like this: if you were to bring your car to a mechanic, um, there is an element of partnership there for the mechanic to be able to identify and process what he's expected to do in order to like repair your car. Same thing with fixing a computer. Same thing with, for the most part, even if you go shopping for clothes, you can't just drop your car for the mechanic and say, fix my car. The mechanic's going to ask you a lot of questions. He's going to say, what's broken with it? If it's making a noise, what steps are you doing to generate that noise? Is it like only when you make a left turn? If that's the case, then the mechanic can better identify the issue and complete that repair. Same thing with a computer. You can't just drop off a computer at a computer guy and say, fix it. What's the matter with the computer? What is it that the computer guy is trying to fix? If it doesn't turn on, that's one thing. But you have to let the computer guy know to look at that. If it's only something like your mouse doesn't click, so these things, the computer guy needs that information from you. You have to play your part, working as a partner with the computer guy, with the car mechanic. You want to go shopping for clothes. The person who's trying to sell you clothes is not just going to find anything that fits. What's the occasion that you're dressing up for? Is there a particular color or style that you like? People work together with you in order to accomplish, what are your goals. But you have to do your part. So when the doctors told me that I have to do my part, there's an element of partnership there. I am a partner with the hospital. The hospital already knows what they have to go through in order for me to complete the stem cell transplant. And they have protocols and they have a number of things that they follow. But there are responsibilities on the patient in order to complete their responsibilities so that the doctors can do their parts as well. So obviously it's not going to be as simple as they're just going to ask you questions with like, what's wrong? In this case over here, my partnership with the hospitals, or your partnership with the hospital, is that they're telling you, you need to eat and drink, you need to exercise, you need to do mental health, you need to I guess, work on your mental health. It just said mental health. So I'm a partner. What do these things mean? So let's just try to get right into it and try to figure out, like, I'll tell you how I figured out what some of these things mean, because again, a number of research items were done, and how I process these things. So number one, eat and drink. Eating, if you're starting the chemo process, food does not taste what it's supposed to taste like. At least now for me, I imagine other chemo patients who are probably even getting stronger chemos than what I had are probably, there's probably like an element of like, if they're experiencing like a large amount of mouth sores, or if they're completely like lethargic or whatever it is. Bottom line is that you need to eat and process foods. You need to consume calories, because you're going to be here in the hospital. Food does not taste like what you get at home. Food does not taste like what you get in a restaurant. The hospital serves. I mean, I'm a kosher observer. I keep kosher. The hospital kosher menu is not exactly so good. The first 2 weeks I was here, I was struggling. I ended up subscribing to a different kosher food service that's actually willing to deliver to my room. Uber Eats won't even deliver to the room. They'll come in through the front door, and I have to be downstairs to greet them in order to get my food. But since I could not leave my hospital room for like the first 4 days, or I can't even leave my ward, even now, which is day plus 13, I can't even leave my ward. Uber Eats was never going to work for me. So I subscribed to a kosher food service, but about 2 weeks into my hospital stay, they added a few items to the menu, and I've been ordering these things every day. Let me show you what it is. This is a amazing salad. It's fresh, clean lettuce. They have a number of like nuts, craisins, tuna fish, and dressing in here. So what's interesting about this is that tuna fish does not taste to me what it's supposed to. I usually eat tuna fish and it's delicious, but very often I'll look at it and I'm just like nauseated by this stuff. But I know in my mind that this thing is good for me. And since I'm trying to consume calories, and not just calories, I can just eat like a plain bagel, or I can eat bread. Those are calories, but those are carbs. And for a lot of people, that's just good enough. I spoke to the dietitian over here, and she said, if you eat proteins are the building blocks for regenerating your body's health. Your body, the DNA, all the things that are needed in the body come for the most part from proteins. So whenever possible, if you're going through this step of, okay, we need to eat, you can, of course, eat as much as you can, because again, you're going to be losing weight no matter what you do. You are going to be losing weight. You could do this level 1 where you're just eating carbs. You're just eating, in my case, I spent like a week just eating plain bagels. I loved, it was just, I couldn't eat anything else. Everything else nauseated me. I even looked at an apple, which I thought was just too sweet, and I almost threw up. But like a plain bagel just appealed to me, with nothing inside, no tuna, no egg and cheese. It was just a plain bagel, delicious. Have that with a glass of water, and it was amazing. After speaking to the dietitian again spelled out for me. I'm just repeating myself over here. You don't want to just go only carbs. You want to get protein, tuna fish. You want to get some chicken. You want to get again good proteins. They will prescribe, if you're going through this and you just cannot eat solid proteins, they will prescribe for you. You can get like a vanilla or chocolate protein shake, and that's just a drink, and your body will take these proteins and hopefully regenerate what you need. But that's the eating. You need to eat because your body is consuming energy in order to either try to heal itself or be able to process, and proteins are the building block for everything that like is growing or needs to grow within your body. So that's something you need to do. That's number one, is to eat it. Part 2 of number 1 is the drinking. Now, I drink a huge amount of water because I watched some other videos from other people who have gone through chemo, and I was told that like you could kind of flush out the chemo from your body by drinking a huge amount of water. So I've been very careful to drink against my will. Again, I don't want to do this because I'm sick, but I know in my mind that this thing is good for me. So it's almost like a discipline, and I'm taking what the doctors are saying very seriously. This is almost like religion. If the doctor said you need to do these things, I took it very seriously. So I've been drinking 2 of these pitchers a day. This is like again half. I'm already like halfway through the day. Half of what's already here. This is ice water. You drink this, you'll be going to the bathroom maybe 2-3 times an hour, but you're doing good for your system. Number 1, the drinking and the eating It creates like a certain autophagy within the system, within your body. You're flushing out um, any like toxins that are within your body. And a big deal is that you're also hydrating your body. The rooms run dry. There's an air purifier in every hospital room that we have here, and my lips get chapped just from being in the room. The hospital will give you lip balm, which I wear daily, but the rooms are super dry with an air purifier, so I am dried out. Um, with the exception of the fact that I drink a huge amount of water. So the water helps for hydration, and it also helps for like flushing out your system. You go into the bathroom very often. There's movement within your body when you're eating and drinking. Your body's processing. It's not just going to be like lethargic and stale. You need to allow that activity to happen within your body. So all that is number one. That's the eating and drinking. And again, also for obvious reasons, another reason to eat is because your body needs nutrition. Your body just needs food. You need the energy to be able to, to be able to continue going forward. If you're not eating, and again, I know a lot of other people are going through a harder process because they have real leukemia, like that's a real blood cancer. They're going through. They might be like far older, or a lot of the foods are really nauseating to them. Not just like for me, it's the sweets that are like somewhat nauseating. And again, the dressing in the salad is a little bit sweet, but I can tolerate that. But there are other things. If you received a certain type of chemo that causes an entire mouth of sores, then you're probably not eating because it's hard to eat. You're not going to chew food with a mouth full of sores. And I don't mean to gross you out with that, but that's something that has to be done. So that's the eating and drinking. Number two, exercise. Exercise is a very big deal. Now, a lot of people come in here, they've never had exercise experience. They're just sedentary. So what do you do? What do you do in those cases? So you have to at least be doing some sort of, you can't just lay in bed and be lethargic. Now, again, you might be lethargic, but like somehow you have to overcome that. Hopefully you get some fuel from some of the eating and drinking, but just like walk around a little bit. There's a physical therapist that comes around to all the rooms and tries to, help you just get some motion in your body and so forth. Um, uh, there are exercises within the booklet that in this particular hospital that they assigned to me with, again, very specific exercises that you could do while you're sitting in a chair, moving your arms up and down. Just try to get like a range of motion for yourself. Doing things with your legs, try to do some sort of minimal sit-ups. If you're able to leave your room, which usually comes after the chemo, you can like walk around a little bit. Just walk around. Even a person who lives a sedentary lifestyle can walk around for the most part. But you have to try to do something. You can't just be completely lethargic and spend 30 days in a hospital bed. It's just going to be you're making your body putting your body in a worse situation than where it is. Now, in my particular case, I'm coming from a place where I was doing some CrossFit. I'm not completely in shape because I have this blood cancer, so I never really did like amazing like cardio. But I'm able to, let's say, do a few sit-ups. I'm able to do a few squats every single day. I walk around the ward. Every room in this particular hospital actually has an exercise bike. Now, again, I'm not trying to do cardio, but I'll keep the setting on the lowest setting on this exercise bike. I'm not trying to work out the heart, but I will work out for like, let's say 10, 20 minutes on the lowest setting. Because again, I just want my legs to move so that there's some activity with my legs. It shouldn't be, I don't want my muscles to atrophy. So if I just have some of that motion, then that's great. But again, it's the lowest setting possible. I'm just rotating my legs like this for about 10 minutes slowly, just so that I can just have some sort of like motion with my legs. But so I know that some people will not necessarily be able to do that. But whatever you can do, you have to do something. If you can get yourself to a level where you can do like a little bit of sweating, I think there's some good to that. Meaning you're actually sweating out the toxins that might be coming from this chemo. But the bottom line is that the exercise helps prevent atrophy. You're able to push through with a number of things, especially if you could do this on a good day. Obviously, you'll have good days and bad days. If you have a good day and you're waking up and you're not nauseous, no diarrhea, no fever, and you can try to do like just a few squats. And if you're doing push-ups, don't do it on the floor. Do it like against the wall, or do it like at an angle. You might have to wear gloves. You don't want to, the floor is like kryptonite. It's a cesspool of bacteria. If you can try to do some push-ups, or if you can just try to just get your hands in motion or just try to do some walking. Those things are amazing. You should take advantage of the good days because the performance that you have on a good day will propel you through some of those bad days, and they will help you get out of the hospital hopefully a little bit faster. Again, all the advice that I'm giving you might you might want to consult with a doctor. I'm just telling you from my own experience, and I hope I'm not screwing everyone over, and I hope I'm not being dismissive of someone who's in a far worse situation. I'm just telling you, like from my own experience, this is what I did, and this is again my interpretation of what the doctors want. So that's exercise. That was number 2. Number 3, the third thing the doctor said was mental health. I wasn't 100% clear what this means. Either I should keep my mental health or focus on getting better mental health. Not sure, but I'll tell you that I have a certain amount of advantages because I come from I'm married and I have 4 kids, so I have a family behind me who's rooting for me. I'm also connected to a neighborhood and a community, and they're all rooting for me as well. Meaning I have my share of visitors, and I have support. People are calling me and they're wishing me the best, and knowing that I have friends and family and a community that's behind me and they're rooting for me, there's a huge amount of power in my head. Like this is in my head, it's almost like you almost get like an ego rush that these people are cheering for me and they're looking forward to my success. They want to see me pull through this, and they want me to be in a better situation, and that's very encouraging, and that's that puts me in a very good place. That's number 1, how I'm processing like the mental health. Number 2, making sure I'm getting a lot of sleep. From what I understand, I think people who like don't get enough sleep, they wake up and they're just cranky. And I get my morning coffee. Don't talk to me. It's Monday. You know how some of those people. So in terms of just like focusing on my mental health, I try to make sure that I go to sleep like at a normal time every night. 9-10 o'clock if I can, and of course I get disturbed because the nurses have to come in. They have to do vitals twice at night, and they also have to give me there's a schedule for either antibiotics or for additional drips that they have to connect to me, and so forth. Even like I think maintenance is done by like 9 p.m. But for the most part, there are interruptions to your sleep. And by the way, the hospital beds is nothing to write home about. People are not exchanging their home mattresses for a hospital bed. But you try to find a way to make yourself comfortable. If you want, you can bring like a blanket that keeps you warm. I found myself like very often cold, but I like to breathe the cold air. I just don't want to feel cold. So I always ask like the nurse for like an extra blanket. I brought my own like special pillow because I have a huge head, and the weight of the pillow, like the hospital pillows, they just get totally smushed. So I got like a firm pillow for my head so that I can, I'll just be a little bit more comfortable for myself. But you might want to do this for yourself. Whatever it takes to make your bed a little bit more comfortable, you need to be extra cautious and concerned that you would get a good night's sleep. Even with interruptions, you're definitely going to be interrupted, but you need to somehow manage and make sure that you get a good night's sleep. I also go to sleep early because they wake me up at 5:30 in the morning. I like to pray with the sunrise. So they wake me up 5:30. They change my linens. They do a number of things. I have to shower, and then sunrise. I start my prayer like 6:15. Sunrise is around like 6:30, 6:45, depending on. It was 6:45 when I first entered the hospital. Now it's already closer to 6:30. So, so I have family and community. Make sure you get a good night's sleep. 2 other things that I want to mention in terms of mental health. Number 1, I actually brought to the hospital. I'm not working. I don't have a job at this time. I was actually let go before I actually joined the hospital. That I should probably make a separate video for, because the boss actually essentially, he didn't just say that I did not hold my position. He actually like fired me. He's like, okay, we're just letting you go. So I actually don't have a job, but I did bring work and projects for myself that when I emerged from this thing, I would either somehow be able to launch like a new business for myself, or there are a few things that I've just been like lingering in the background, but like I'm taking a proactive approach to conquering material that I would want to, conquer. So I have those projects that I've been working on while I'm here. And that also, like, as long as you're proactive and you're doing something, then this is great for your mental health, I believe. And the last thing that I've been doing for mental health, I thought of this on my own, as everything else, is trying to watch comedy. Now there aren't any good funny movies coming out of Hollywood because of like the whole the world changed. I don't know, maybe everything is just too woke. There's nothing like really good. But I've been watching some stand-up comedy like on YouTube. Now, stand-up comedy is a little bit of a problem because there's nothing essentially like kosher. Everything is like the funniest stuff has foul language in it, and I'm not a, obviously it's not something I like to be exposed to. So I've been trying to find like things that are more like Abbott and Costello, clips from like the movie Airplane. Like all these things are there are good punchlines and whatnot that are associated with it, but they say that laughter is the best medicine. I mean, in a situation like this where I'm fighting blood cancer, um, then the world is kind of like ending. I mean, thank God we're past this point now. But like in my mental health, like if you just have a good laugh and you release those endorphins and you're just laughing out loud because some stuff is hilariously funny, then it gives you a positive attitude and everything is just great and hunky dory. So I've been trying to be particular on comedy. Hopefully, I'll be able to just get back to normal even after when I'm done over here. My mental health will continue, and I won't necessarily need to turn to comedy. But right now, again, I've never really got into it, but now while I was here in the hospital, I was purposely trying to watch comedy clips because I want to make myself laugh out loud, and I'm hoping that you find something that's funny for yourself as well. And the last thing, which is kind of like a bonus, again, those were the three things, but I want to just say a bonus item for myself, something that's going to really help you get through the process of being able to get out and hopefully recover from this thing, hopefully recover from this stem cell transplant or bone marrow transplant or whatever it is that you might be going through. And that is, you really have to listen to the staff here at when you're in the hospital. I've heard stories of people slapping the nurse, fighting with the nurses, flirting with the nurses, not doing what the nurses say. One nurse came in here and she said we tell the patients you're supposed to have these ice chips in your mouth for 30 minutes while you're getting this very specific type of chemo, and if you don't, you're going to get mouth sores. And they just ignore them. And they're not listening to the nurses, and they're talking while some of them will take some of the ice chips, or they're talking. The mouth is going to be freezing cold when you're getting this specific type of chemo. And now they have a whole mouthful of sores. Now they can't eat. And now it spirals into this whole negative thing. So if the nursing staff is telling you to do something, stand up, sit down, go take a shower, use these wipes, do it like this, it's time for vitals. Don't twist and turn and fight and argue and whatever it is with them. I had a little issue of my own over here. I tried to use a certain type of electronic device that they thought was interfering with the Wi-Fi or that it was recording. They said, take it down or put it away. I did exactly what they said. I got rid of it. I mean, first they said take it down, and I only had it up when I was eating supper with the family. I was interacting with the family through this electronic device. Then they said, just get rid of it. We don't want to hear it. Okay, I'm listening. If you're a nurse and you're giving me chemo, I'm going to listen to what you're saying. I'm not going to fight with you. Don't, I know you're killing me a little bit. Don't overdo it. Don't try to kill me. But I listened to everything the nurses said. If the nurses said jump up, it's how high? And I treated that almost like religion, because I'm going to, the nurses are aren't we partners? I'm doing my part. They're doing their part. They're following protocol, and I have to listen to them. So if they're telling me to do something specific, then why would I argue? Who am I? I'm not an authority to argue with them. They're following protocol, and protocol says this is how you react in certain things. So you just do it. You just do it, and you'll find that. I think you'll find that when you work with the nurses and they see that you're working with them, then the few times that you ask them to accommodate some of your own needs. I happen to be a Sabbath observer, and being in a hospital on the Sabbath has been a little bit complicated. So the few times that I'm able to ask them to do certain things, like adjust the lights so that I can sleep because I can't turn off the lights myself on the Sabbath, or can we readjust the schedule a little bit like this, that we start earlier every day so that I can pray on time with the sunrise. The nurses have been super accommodating, and I hope that maybe it's because I've just been a good patient, and they're not going to unaccommodate someone who's been good with them, and we've all been working together the entire time. Partnership kind of works both ways. So I think that that's been amazing. They've been super accommodating. So again, let's just review all these three things. Eating and drinking. You need to find food that you will eat and that you will like and that you will consume. Even if you're nauseated, you have to eat it, because there's a discipline in your mind that you need to eat food. You need to drink a ton of water because you need to flush out your system. You need to hydrate. And it's just good for you. Water is just it's the source of life. Exercise. You need to prevent your muscles from atrophying. You need to create motion in your life, and you need to create activity within your body. So that's exercise. mental health. You need to get a good night's sleep. You need to reach out to your friends and family for support and give you encouragement. Tell them to come visit. But you need to like cry with them. You need to be happy with them. You need to share with in your life with them. You need to get a good night's sleep. You need to work on your on if you can work on some sort of special projects. Even work remotely. Be billable. Make money while you're here in the hospital if you have that that level of functionality. And then what was the first part? And then of course, if you want to watch something that's comedic, you want to watch something that's funny, laughing out loud releases endorphins that are amazing. And of course, the bonus information was just listen to the nurses, listen to the staff, the doctors and nurses. They're not like inconsistent with one another. For the most part, they're all consistent. They're telling you what to do. If they say whatever they say, you just got to do what they say. And that's it. And hopefully that will help you go through the stem cell, bone marrow, whatever transplant you're going through, and hopefully have a fast recovery. Again, tomorrow's day 14, day plus 14. They're throwing me out of here. I've been having good performance. You can see I'm still like in good spirits, and I've been doing everything that they asked me to do. Maybe the reason why I'm getting out early is because I have been doing my part. They've been doing their part, and together we're able to accomplish something great. So hopefully I'm totally clear over here. Hopefully there's no relapse. And I have some other videos I'm going to be sharing with you guys, but for the most part, I'm hoping to be out of here soon. Okay, so I hope this information was helpful. If you like it, subscribe to my channel. There's more stuff to come, hopefully soon. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a great and wonderful day, or good luck to you on your journey.